So thank you all for being here today, and particular thanks to Feras for joining us for this session. I think we wanted to make this a little bit informal in a way that it will be a dialogue between the two of us. The idea here is to really enlighten the audience who has cared to join us, to give them the fundamentals behind the agri-tech sector and really sensitize them to the innovations that are happening behind it. So just as a background for the audience, I wanted to share the following. Firstly, and you know this better than anyone else, Feras, is that the UAE agri-tech sector has shown rapid growth in the last 3 to 5 years. Food security is a key mission, has been a driver for the government and for the leaders. And we have a vibrant agri-tech startup ecosystem in place. You know, Pure Harvest, Silal, Aero Farms, Bustanica, Madar Farms, and then players like Elite Agro who are bringing the products to the market. But on top of that, there are several hubs and accelerators that are making it happen as well. And there is a rise of sustainable farms and local produce, right? So this sector is undeniably in the forefront right now. There are many who would like to invest in this sector. So I would like to take the opportunity of your presence today, Feras, to discuss the fundamentals and just talk to the audience about this. So my first question, without further ado, the world population is growing. About 81 million people we are adding every year, and there'll be 10 billion people on Earth by 2050. So this translates to really wanting us to double the food production. Can you clearly tell us what is the vision for food security in our country, and what are the current gaps in us becoming 100% food sufficient?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's a great opportunity to share the experience that we created throughout the years in terms of food security, agriculture, and sustainability as well. So coming back to your question, you've mentioned something very important, which is the population. We're almost a bit over 8 billion and expected to be on 2050 by the UN research, almost 10 billion, 9 point something. So with this increase of around almost 2 billion in the next 26 years, it urges everyone to start looking into different opportunities or technologies, whether if it is agriculture, food production, and then probably food consumption as well on top of that.
Correct.
So this is a great to educate people to start changing the habits, the behavior of consumers as well, as we've listened as well before. So what we did is in agriculture, to focus on this better, everyone at the moment should be looking into different investments where we can really produce or double the amount of food produced in order for us to, first of all, be sustainable, be able to feed those the existing population, and then in the future, in the next 25 years from now. So what we did at Emirates Crop One, I'll give an example. So Emirates Crop One, the brand name is Bustanica. Emirates Crop One is owned by Emirates Flight Catering. So why did Bustanica become a vertical farm? You know, we're into aviation, we cater flights, over 130 airlines so far from Dubai Airport. So why we thought of doing this is, first of all, because we care. We care about the consumer. We wanted to create a special product that is really with the highest quality. So we looked into different aspects. This started in 2016, 2017. We started looking into different procurement in order for us to secure the best quality products. So we checked like probably chicken from Brazil, beef from New Zealand, veggies and fruits from Europe, or wherever we can get it, in order for us to supply and cater the airline business. So Emirates Flight Catering, we're proud of serving 250,000 meals a day. That's a huge number. So in order for us to do this, so we looked at different aspects of the business to start securing the procurement, and we found out that leafy greens, they don't travel well. So whenever we serve salads or leafy greens on our airlines, including Emirates Airlines and others as well, as I said before, they always tend to be not the best quality that we would expect. So we said then it's vertical farming. So this is number one, because we care. Second of all, we wanted to support the UAE strategy towards food security 2050. and wanted to do also, because the UAE is becoming an innovation hub in different sectors. It's not only agriculture, so it is in IT, agriculture, AI, food processing, food systems, as COP28 is all about, which is starting tomorrow. So we wanted as well to touch base this as a quality that we do. So we started again in 2016, 2017, looking at different aspects. So we traveled from Japan to the US, different countries in Europe, in order for us to capture the best knowledge and know-how behind this vertical farming. We started the construction in 2020. We came up by 2022 to finish the project, where we've built the world's largest vertical farm, which is located in Dubai. We're so proud of this. Again, it's the world's largest. It's the most innovative, cutting-edge technology, state-of-art, that we produce different type of leafy greens. That's how we started. And we kept adding to the portfolio in regards, because we found a great demand from the market. So we started, let's say, for the aviation, but then we found a huge demand. So now we're on retail, HoReCa sector, hotels, restaurant, coffee shop, caterers, wholesalers, plus the aviation. So we're so proud to say that this farm becomes the innovative hub of vertical farming. In terms of sustainability now, if we talk about this, when we say the world's largest vertical farm, so we harvest 3 tons a day of leafy greens. So imagine the huge volume that we do. In order for this, and the footprint of the facility is, just to let everyone imagine it, it's not that big. It's 10,000 square meters on 3 floors. So that's the footprint. So we've utilized the space, and we produce 3 tons again. So in order for you to do this conventionally, you would require 470,000 square meters of land, of arable land, not any land. So that's probably almost twice the size of Dubai Airport, International Airport. So imagine how much on space utilization we've did in order for us to grow and harvest 3 tons a day. So that's by far a sustainable approach if you look at it. So this is what we did, plus so many things. So I will come probably dive in. If you want me, I can continue and talk all about it, but I'll wait for more questions from you.
No, that's great.
But actually, it's a huge, honestly.
No, Feras, thank you for this. And I can already sense the passion behind what it took to reach this point for Emirates Crop 1. And embed, inside your answer, I hear 2 things. The first thing I hear is that the vision for self-sufficiency in food is here to stay. We want to make it happen. I think that's number 1. The second thing I'm hearing is that there are technologies, there are approaches like vertical farming that's already done by organizations like the Emirates Crop 1. And what we need to do is to now extend this further. To close the gap, we need to extend this further in order to make it a reality for us in the future. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah. And we're always happy. In the end, we created something to create a different segment of a product, which is leafy green. Sure. And as I said, we added so much. But we're here not to compete with other farms. We're here to collaborate.
Correct.
We're here to share our experience with others. We're here to develop further vertical farms. And yes, we did the most innovative, cutting-edge technology, state-of-art facility, but did we stop there? No. Yes, we produce, but we keep looking into different technologies, different AI integrations, and lot. So we did not stop, because if you want in the end to approach or develop something, or let's say not develop, if you want to always be at the top of the game, you have always to invest in the research and development, checking different technologies, different business partners. So by sharing this, you would be able always to be at the top of the game, which is UAE is very famous for this. It's always at top of the game, and on all sectors again, whether if it's tourism, airlines, business, HoReCa, whatever.
For sure. I'd like to share with the audience one statistic that 80% of the food consumption in the UAE is currently imported, and 20% is produced locally. So we want to, as part of our security vision for food security, we want to swap that. We want to make it opposite. Okay. In your answer, you had talked about the consumer. You had just touched upon the consumer. Before I go into the details of agri-tech technologies, I wanted to ask you, is the consumer, is the local consumer willing to pay that extra? Because there is a statistic that producing locally costs 25% more than perhaps importing it today. There is a thought here. So is the local consumer willing to pay that extra to buy foods that are made locally? And if so, what's the evidence so far, based on your experience?
So again, we live over here in the UAE. It's a very competitive market, and people always, the consumer always tends to try different trends. So today you'll find the product, if they don't keep, again, enhancing and developing that product, whether if it is a flavor or a pack, more sustainable, let's say, or a different look, a different marketing approach. It's a very competitive market. And I've talked to different business, like in food sectors, let's say. Let's focus on food sectors,
sure,
as we're on ADIFE today. So they always say they export, like most of the producers here of food manufacturers, they export their product. And they always say, like, the UAE is a very competitive market for us to survive. Whereas if we export to other parts of the world, without naming any country, it's very easy for us. The penetration, to get the product on shelf, to get it, to get the adaptation by the consumer, it's so easy for them to sell. But the UAE, the focus, because of the consumer behavior and the consumers, as we say, the Gen Zs, yeah, the Generation Z, they always tend to look for different things, new innovation products, made in the UAE. They always want to try more things. So that's why I would say that yes, in the UAE, people tend to try different products, different trends, and they're always willing to pay the premium on that. Especially when we talk about a sustainable, whether if it is on how it's done or how it's packed, made in the UAE, yes, it's a very important thing for consumers. They're proud. Today, the UAE is becoming, it is already one of the best countries that people around the globe, wherever we travel, when you start to talk to people, they just want to come here, either for a visit, and once they visit, even they want to stay here. They don't want to go back home. So they want UAE to be home for them. So yes, they're proud of finding products that are produced in the UAE, but we just have to highlight them. Which is already something the Ministry, I think, of Industry did a new icon launched probably this March, this year, which is made in UAE icon. And I believe most of the brands now started getting that icon on their products, because they want to highlight that this product was produced in UAE, and people trust everything produced in the UAE. For me, I would really trust that product instead of getting an important product. So is it, are they willing to pay the premium? Yes, I believe they're willing to pay, because of they're proud of their product. They always want to try different things. So if you are at the top of your game, whether if it's a packaging or a product or a flavor, whatever is it, they will be able to spend the premium to try it. So yes, you have to market it well, make it be visible, and people are willing to do that.
And that's very heartening. And I think that there is a underlying message also to the different partners in this ecosystem. Because as much as there is investments happening behind the agri-tech sector, there are farms that are making locally produced products, but also there is the role of retailers, for example, and distribution partners, in order to make sure that they close the supply chain, make it available, and put it in front of consumers. And I think that's going to play a big role. Okay, I'm going to quickly move to the technologies, because I'm very curious to know from you, Feras. We just heard from the representative from the Abu Dhabi Investment Office about the investments that are happening behind farm and animal production. We know that there are more than 35,000 farms now here operating in the UAE with modern farming and irrigation techniques. So can you just share with the audience, what are the main agri-tech technologies that have been adopted by us in the last couple of years? And just explain what's hydroponics, because we hear this a lot, but we wanted to hear from you. What exactly is hydroponics?
So I'll start with the second part of the
Sure.
question, which is, first of all, what's hydroponics? So Bostanica, Emirates Crop One, as the world's largest vertical farm again, it's hydroponic. So saying hydroponic, that means it's 100% soil-less free facility. So we don't grow our leaves or whatever we grow in veggies on soil. So it's 100% soil-less free. we grow on water. By that, we achieve, with the technology I'm growing hydroponic versus soil. So first of all, it's much safer. So once you grow, because most bacteria and contamination comes from the soil itself. So where we are hydroponic, that means we're more safe. Second, we tend to make the roots of those plants get the nutrients faster than in soil, because the water is always uncirculated, so it's not stagnant. So by that, we make sure that nutrients 24/7, the roots suck those nutrients all the time. Whereas on soil, when you like water your plants, the water like with nutrients seeps in the soil. And it could be in one part of your land, you have probably an extra iron, different nitrogen on the other part, different minerals there. So you don't expect the yield to be the same, or the harvest, or your plants. Whereas on hydroponic, once we transplant those plants, they will be growing at like homogeneous, the same height, the same level, same greenery, same everything, because they're exposed to the same parameters that they require. So that's hydroponic.
Fantastic.
So soilless free. Now coming back to the technology you said, right?
Correct, yes.
So the adaptation. So I'll talk about Emirates Crop One because I'm managing that project. I'm proud to do that. So again, once we built the world's largest vertical farm, we made sure that it is the most innovative, cutting-edge technology, because we knew that we want to, first of all, want to supply the best quality product, and being part of Emirates Flight Catering, wanted as well to make sure that we deliver the promise, which is we care. So that's why we tend to partner up with the best technology partners around the globe for us to enable us to build this technology. So what we did is we have different technology. If you look at the vertical farming that we built at Bostanica, in terms of water and how we get it, if you want me to go into details, I can. I don't know.
Just a couple of thoughts.
Yeah, maybe. So for water, like let's say, just to give you something before I get to the water and the ecosystem that we do at Bostanica, our product, once harvested, it's ready to eat. So it's unwashed, unsanitized, and we expect our consumer, whether if it's aviation, in retail, if you find our like our pack of Bostanica, Horeca, caterers, wholesalers, we are ready to eat product. So we harvest, pack, and it's ready to be consumed right out of the box. This is just amazing. We're the only ready to eat farm, I would say, in the region, not only in the UAE. And this is a great news, because once you don't wash those greens, the crispness, the flavorness, the taste, and the shelf life. So we give 14 days shelf life minimum on shelf, on retailers. So even when you open the pack, consume and reseal it, yeah, reclose it, and put it back in your fridge, it will not wilt. Like the whole leaves will stay fresh for 14 days. So that's amazing. So coming back to the technology, in order for us to keep this promise, it's the technology behind and the way we've built the farm. So what we do is we get the water to the water treatment building, which is separate from our farm. We get something, it goes through a process. First one is called RO, the reverse osmosis. So we demineralize the water from all the heavy metals within the water and all, particles, whatever. Then they go through UV pipes. So we purify the water that comes in, then it gets pushed to the farm. And within the farm, we've created 27 farms. So like within the farm, just to give the audience a visual, we've created 27 farms, 9 on each floor, because again, we're 3 floors, right? Each farm of these 27 is 100% different in all the parameters that we grow things in. So when the water gets pushed in, to each room, it has its own brain. So each room has its own brain. It does the exact amount of nutrients for the product that we want to transplant in that room. So let's say if we're growing romaine lettuce, we know exactly the exact amount of nutrients. It will get dosed in this, and it will go to that room specifically. Whereas if we grow spinach on the other hand, on the other room, the nutrients are different. Not only nutrients, but I'm talking about water now, because every single thing is different around the room. and we dose the same nutrients that goes to that room. So, and there are so many things as well behind that. Beside, in each room we have, let's say, 21 shelves. This is actual numbers. Each 21 racks. Each rack is 100% isolated as well than the other rack, right? So imagine on how much the size that we've isolated the farm. So then each rack, what we did is every 8 hours, and this is 100% automated, so we don't interfere, sends water to the brain room, we call it NDS, yeah? The water gets tested, it gets redosed again with the same amount of nutrients required for that specific cultivar produce, sent back to the rack, then we flush the main pipe, and then we take a sample from the second rack. And this happens throughout the facility every 24/7. So every 8 hours we test each rack from those 21 racks within the facility times 27. So 3 times a day within 24 hours, the whole racks within the facility get tested. So imagine how much AI, and this is 100% automated, whether if it's the dosing, the sending of the water sample, testing, everything. We don't do anything, we don't interfere. Even the light system, the HVAC unit, the temperature, the humidity around it, within the room, like all the other elements or aspects. So that's technology. Once you want to do something, you have to do it right, in my opinion, or please don't do it, because you will not be able to sustain, you will not be able to deliver your message. And when it comes to food, it has always to be safe, it has always to be sustainable, and whatever you want to deliver for the consumer in terms of the product. So everything for me as an FMCG as well expert, it starts with the product, the pack, the visibility, availability, the team, then the marketing, then everything else. So it starts within the product itself.
I really like this, and I think that the kind of examples you have given specifically in the use of technologies in delivering not only a safe but a long, more fresh and more consumable product is amazing. And embedded in there, I heard artificial intelligence. It's like that brain operating the entire farm. There's going to be a lot of data, I'm sure, a lot of data being processed. And then there is almost something so important to us, which is water conservation. At the end of the day, this is being used to conserve water and natural resources, and this is phenomenal. Okay, I'm going to jump to a question on innovation, and before
I'll come back to the water because it's amazing thing.
In its own, yeah. Sure. The Abu Dhabi Investment Office has really launched a package of several $100 million behind precision farming, agricultural robotics, bioenergy, indoor farming, and I can see a lot of that in what you have just said. The question for you is that, can you name 1 or 2 top innovations in agri-tech that is going to come in the next couple of years? And what do investors, should they be investing into this or not? That's the question I have for you.
So that's a great question. Do you want me to come to the water first or second after this?
This first?
This
okay. If you don't mind.
So the nice thing about it, everything around the technology and the AI around agriculture or agribusiness is very important to me, because in the end, you have to complete the circle. So whether if it is water technology on how you save water, power technology on how you save water, to make it more sustainable, space utilization, so how you can densify crops within the same space. So space utilization is something to look at. Like micro let's say, climates within the facility as well. This is very important that we really concentrate at Bostanica as well. So it's everywhere, even lighting system, the LEDs, because we've done so many studies, and also we like to share knowledge and collaborate, and as well as get the knowledge from others. So even LEDs, in order for it to grow, they will affect the duration or the growth period that the crop requires. And this is again something to look at, because when you grow faster, and I say faster, it's only because you're delivering the right amount of everything in precision farming. That's why you're faster. But we've done everything. We're mimicking the nature. So we know how the nature reacts and how the cultivars reacts to the nature when you seed in your garden. We did the same. We mimicked the same thing. But what we did is we only delivered the right amount of all the parameters, whether if it is light, climate, water, nutrients, all the above, to make sure that we grow faster. So I'll give you a quick example. At Bostanica, we're 20% faster than conventional farming. So if you would grow lettuce, you would require probably a month and a half. We do it in 28 days. So with the same yield expected, right? But again, with the most, it's not only growing faster, but growing at a bit faster, as well as keeping the quality better, because you deliver the right amount over the time. So many things to be invested in. This also software, because you need, like putting all the technology, you need the communication between different parts of the technology, whether if it's the water, whether if it is the lighting system, the HVAC units from temperature and humidity. So you need something to control and start to communicate between all these devices. So software is an amazing investment to be done as well. So we expect to see more softwares coming into the business. Automation, again, within the business. So we've seen, like now we're looking at some small, very tiny drones that can circulate the farm and check for you the microclimates, the humidity, the temperature, the health of those plants. So technology is amazing. Beside technology, I will just add something again. Having the best technology is not only enough. You have to marry that with the best plant scientists. It's like, I'll give you an example. This Sunday was the Formula One Grand Prix here in Abu Dhabi, and having the best car is not enough. You need the best driver, and behind the best driver, you need the best team behind him, from engineering, technicians. The driver cannot make it on himself. The car cannot make it on himself. Put me in a car, probably I will not get first place, right? But put someone who got the first place, he will always be the get. So you need to put that into consideration. So investing in people as well, in plant scientists, will always be on top of the game. So it's the software, the technology, the AI, and then the people on top of that. By that you will, and this is what we did and what we keep doing at Bostanica, and this is what I advise everyone to look at, whether if it is an agribusiness or different type of businesses as well, different sectors. So it's always important.
It's crystal clear. It's
Yeah.
crystal clear, and I
Thank
think
you.
the audience, I hope you got the idea of what are the key areas of investment that will be, that will take us forward. Now, my parting question to you is investments in agri-tech and investments in making food locally enough for our vision of food security? That's the second question. And please share with the audience your parting thoughts on the future of agri-tech for our economy.
Again, living in the UAE, there is nothing enough. You have to be on top of your game, honestly speaking. And
Sure.
that's why I'm proud to be born and lived here all my life in UAE. Yes, I studied abroad, but then I consider this my home country, and I've seen how how things happened with the vision of the leadership of this country. So there is nothing enough here. We want to be number one. That's what we're trying to be, whether if it is agriculture or any other business. So is it enough? No. We still need to do more. And always, even if we're number one, for you to get to number one, it's not the easy thing, but to maintain and continue to be the first, that's the thing. And in order to do that, you have always to invest into development, enhancement, collaboration, knowledge sharing, trying different technology, hiring the right people at the right positions at the right time. So that's being number one. So, and us as like a human, we always pursue to be perfection, right? Or to be perfect on everything. Is it something that we can get? I believe yes. Are we there yet? No. But are we getting there? Yes, we are getting there, and we will get there. That's because of everything again, because of the direction, the leadership, the investments that are done, the skilled workers. Again, we live in a country with over 200 nationalities. People come from all around the globe. So everyone brings with him the best and share it with the community. And that's what we like about being here in the country. So we will be there for sure, 100%.
I believe you 200% on this. Thank you so much, Feras. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. And,
my pleasure.
Thank you to the audience as well for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me again.